So, after telling us the functions of the Constituent Assembly, now the Qaid moves on to tell us about the evils that might befall the new country. So, he says, the second thing that occurs to me is this: one of the biggest curses from which India is suffering. I do not say that other countries are free from it, but I think our condition is much worse, is bribery and corruption. That really is a poison. We must put that down with an iron hand, and I hope that you will take adequate measures as soon as it is possible for this assembly to do so. So, here in this paragraph, Qaid-e-Azam is warning the new country and its people about the curse that is bribery and corruption. So, right from the creation of Pakistan, Pakistan was faced with these two issues. And then he goes on to say that the next thing that strikes me is this: here again, it is a legacy which has been passed on to us. Along with many other things, good and bad, has arrived great evil, the evil of nepotism and jobbery. I want to make it quite clear that I shall never tolerate any kind of jobbery, nepotism, or any influence directly or indirectly brought to bear upon me. But whenever I will find out that such a practice is in vogue or is continuing anywhere, low or high, I shall certainly not countenance it. So, the next evil that he points out is that of nepotism. Nepotism means favoritism, and jobbery means that when you try to use your position in order to favor somebody. सो जिसको कहते हैं ना आउट ऑफ टर्न, हम जो लोगों को फेवर करते हैं, किसी सीट पे बैठे होते हैं लोग और वो दूसरों को नाजायज़ फेवर्स देते हैं. सो ही सेज दैट दीज आर the evils which have been passed on to us as a legacy, यानी कि ये हमें विरसे में मिले हैं. And he says that he's not going to tolerate them, and as a new nation, the people of the nation should also not tolerate this thing. Then he points out in the next paragraphs the problems that arose at the creation of Pakistan, and the main problem was that many people were not in favor of the creation of Pakistan. So there were many Muslims who opposed the idea of creation of Pakistan. So in the following paragraphs, he is going to defend the creation of Pakistan. So let me read it out to you. I know there are people who do not quite agree with the division of India and the partition of the Punjab and Bengal. Much has been said against it, but now that it has been accepted, it is a duty of every one of us to loyally abide, honorably act according to the agreement which is now final and binding on all. But you must remember, as I have said, that this mighty revolution that has taken place is unprecedented. So he says that once this division has taken place, and specifically people were against the division of Punjab and Bengal. So he says that now this has taken place, what we should do is that we should now be loyal to our country, and it is now binding on us all to be loyal to our country and to be dutiful to our country and to agree to the division, the partition. Then he goes on to say, one can quite understand the feeling that exists between the two communities wherever one community is in majority and the other is in minority. So right from the very beginning, he points out the difference that is there between a majority and a minority. So Pakistan being a Muslim state, it was understood that it was a Muslim majority area. But of course, this country was not only populated by Muslims, there were minority religions as well. There were Christians, there were Jews, there were Christians, there were Parsis, there were Sikhs, and there were Hindus in this country. So he says that it is understandable that these differences are going to exist between the majority and minority. But the question is whether it was possible or practicable to act otherwise than what has been done. A division has to take place. So he says that there was no way out. This division had to take place. On both sides, in Hindustan and Pakistan, there are sections of people who may not agree with it, who may not like it, but in my judgment, there was no other solution, and I am sure the future history will record its verdict in favor of it. So he says that we had no other solution. So, if you know, even in India, there are so many Muslims living. So, in both the countries, people are living in minorities. In India, the Muslims are in minority. In Pakistan, the Hindus are in minority. So, but he says that we could not find any other way out, and history is going to tell that is in the future years it's going to be proven right. And what is more, it will be proved by actual experience as we go on that it was the only solution of India's constitutional problem. Any idea of a united India could never have worked, and in my judgment, it would have led us to terrific disaster. Maybe that view is correct, maybe it is not. That remains to be seen. So he leaves it for the future for it to decide whether this decision that was taken, uh, the decision of the creation of these two countries, is right or not. All the same, in this division, it was impossible to avoid the question of minorities being in one.